Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Cold, Confused and Annoyed. I'm 23 female getting cold feet about my relationship with my partner, 26 male, now that he has taken an interest in planning our future together. My partner, 26, and I, 23, have been in a relationship for 5 years, living together for 4. Recently, my partner came home having had a short meeting with a financial advisor and was really eager to talk about our financial future with regards to saving goals, life plans, timelines for saving up a deposit for a house, etc. This is a conversation I've been trying to have for years with him, so you'd think great, right? I should be really happy we're finally there, but I'm not. Talking about us going for a meeting with a financial advisor and starting to build towards our future together has given me really cold feet about the relationship. I think part of it is, why now? I've been trying to talk to him about this for a really long time, with renewed efforts at the start of this year when I landed my first full-time salaried position and was working out my budget and personal savings goals. Just 4 months ago, he wouldn't have a conversation about it, but now that the financial advisor has said the same things, it's obviously something we should be doing and I should just jump on board with. I think if the advice was particularly different to what I'm already planning, I'd be less annoyed, but the advice is the same. There's a certain type of savings account that you can start in the UK, specifically for saving up for a house. And I've been talking about planning to open one once I'm full-time employed for literally 3 years. And he brought it up like this new, novel idea I'd never heard of. It makes me wonder if he's ever listened to anything I've ever said. He's always been more frightened of commitment or taking the next step, and I've driven that for the majority of our relationship. Become official and exclusive? I pushed for it. Move in together? I pushed for it. Start a joint account for household costs? Me. Move into a bigger place and buy our own furniture? My call. And every step of the way he's against it and I have to convince him why it's the right decision. I've tried to have this financial future talk for a long time and also the talk about mapping out what our future plans are together, but he's never wanted to have it. I guess I feel a lot of resentment that he's finally ready to talk about this because someone else told him that it's a good idea. It also brings up a lot of worries I've had about the future that might have been sitting under the surface for a while, like the marriage and kids talk. I've always been clear about what I want, and he's always vaguely agreed with me. But trying to talk to him about timescales for it is like pulling teeth and always turns into an argument. It's not like I'm saying you have to propose now or I'm leaving or anything. It's literally just stuff like, ideally, I'd like to be thinking about engagement and buying a house by 28 and married looking to have kids by 30. So he's literally got like half a decade, but we can't have that conversation because he shuts down or gets annoyed or feels pressured, and I have no idea what he wants from the future because he won't tell me. Reading back, I see that there's a lot of resentment in this post, and I feel the need to clarify that I love him. He's my best friend and our day-to-day life is a dream, but I always feel like I'm dragging him into a future he doesn't want and that he doesn't really trust or listen to me as an equal partner until someone else tells him the same things I've been trying to say. I don't want that to be my future. I want someone who has these conversations with me and is excited about taking the next step. This feels like it has been one of the biggest underlying issues in our relationship that we've never been able to address. He doesn't ever really seem to listen to or consider me and often prioritizes his relationships with others. It's like he's expecting that I'll always just be there until he's ready, and that's not a very nice feeling to have. I'm not really sure where to go from here. I guess my big question is, how do I move past this resentment into a productive conversation about goals and expectations? I would like to be excited that he's finally ready to take this step together, but I just feel annoyed and uncertain. I would also like to address the issues of not feeling like a priority once and for all since previous attempts haven't been successful. So I suppose my other question is, how do I make our communication better so that we can actually talk about these things and come up with a plan to fix them? OP, from what you say, it does sound like he doesn't pay attention or value your opinions regarding the future. I do see this as a red flag, and I think that the resentment you feel will not go away until you feel your opinion is valued and respected at a partner level. Now, on the communication part, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but it didn't give me the impression that you guys communicated at all. On one side, as I've already said, he doesn't seem to value your opinion, and on the other side, you have to push and convince him that the decision you think you both should make is the right one. It's because of this that I'm not sure you guys are going to work out. You both seem to be in very different parts in life with very different priorities. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. His Angel Forever says, as a financial advisor, I will tell you, for so many people, even common sense advice isn't really heard until or unless it comes from a professional. There is so much confusion regarding money, it isn't surprising that it takes the words of an outsider to matter. Don't think of this as his disrespecting your financial acumen. Realize this is his lack, not yours. And OP responds, I suppose this financial stuff has just brought up a lot of feelings about the relationship I've not dealt with. On its own, definitely wouldn't make me reconsider the relationship in the same way. Also, partially because I have suggested we speak with a financial advisor in the past to help us get started, and he wasn't on board with that back then. Elwin Brooks says, quote, but I always feel like I'm dragging him into a future he doesn't want, and that he doesn't really trust or listen to me as an equal partner until someone else tells him the same things I've been trying to say. Have you told him this? It's obviously very significant. If yes, you have, how did he respond? If not, you should do that as soon as possible. He needs to know this is where you're at, and his response to it is going to tell you whether you can expect him to start being a partner rather than a placid follower. And OP responds, I've not said it in these exact words because it feels too confrontational, but honestly, maybe I do just need to be blunt this time. Hodl Boo says, you are so young, keep that in mind. Everyone's different, but you should think about why you have long felt pressure to have marriage and kid talks. What's the rush? A sense of accomplishment or certainty? It sounds like you're experiencing resentment or bitterness rather than cold feet. Try to distinguish the feelings and see what emotion is predominant, fear or resentment. Your ability to make decisions together is important, and good on you for calling that out. That's the main issue identified that I could see making someone resentful and fearful. That's where patient comes in. People aren't just born knowing how to be a couple. You learn to make decisions together, to collaborate, negotiate, compromise, and grow together. Your communication doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to be both willing to work on it. Just talk to him about your feelings and how you'd like to approach big topics like this as a team together in the future. It's very likely that he thinks he's pleasing you by taking these next steps because he has heard you in the past and is ready to act on it now. And OP responds, for your first point, we are indeed very young and I definitely don't want those things right now. But with the world we're living in, if we want that future, we need to be on the same page and thinking about our financial health so we can afford it when we get there, basically. I think this issue is resentment. I think the cold feet comes from watching my sister's relationship fall apart and the feelings that has stirred up. That's a me thing to work through though. I guess my sticking point is that communication and working through problems has been an issue our whole relationship, and I really don't know how we can change it at this point, aside from maybe couples counseling. Additional information from OP's comments. So, to clarify some things up, the big financial change is that I am now full-time employed, whereas before I was a student full-time and working part-time. I did try to spark this discussion when I got this job though. Now, he spoke to a financial advisor because he got a free consultation through his job and basically thought he might as well. It seems to have been pretty spur of the moment. Now, I'd like to point out that I haven't been pushing for financial entanglement. We would be setting up our own individual savings account with a common goal in mind. We're not at the buy a house together stage yet, and that's fine. The thing is that when I asked why now, to please tell me why he wants this now and not when I suggested it, he first said he didn't really remember me suggesting it, and then said that it made sense when the financial advisor suggested it because it's the financial advisor's job. Which I get, but I have also suggested seeing a financial advisor together so we can start planning, and he originally shot that idea down. So this is more about whether I want to keep dealing with this issue for the rest of my life or not. He's my first proper relationship, and I think I've maybe allowed myself to be a bit of a pushover or put up with things I maybe wouldn't have had I've been more experienced. We have had a couple of serious talks about this and have nearly split a couple of times, a year into the relationship and about 3 years in. And to be honest, none of those problems were ever actually addressed. I just tried to stop letting them bother me as much. But I want an equal partner who is excited about this stuff. We don't have to have a strictly adhered to plan, but we do need to be on the same page and working together towards a future we both want. I don't want to feel like I'm dragging my partner from milestone to milestone. I want him to actively choose our future together. Well, the community definitely gave OP much better advice than I did, and we got a lot more context regarding the relationship and their issues. So of course now you know that we're gonna move on to the update, but you also know that I'm gonna show you another playlist like this one that only has videos with updates on them. So now we move on to the update. So it's been about a month, and I thought I should update as talking things out with commenters really pushed me into realizing that the relationship desperately needed help. I asked him to do couples therapy with me, and although hesitant at first, he agreed to give it a go. I found a provider, we had a look through profiles and chose one together, and then sent in our expression of interest within an hour of my asking him. She responded 2 days later, and we had our first session booked in for the end of the week. Knowing he was hesitant, we gave the TV show Couples Therapy a go, accidentally starting on season 2, which I think may have been a blessing in disguise as those couples made a lot of positive progress. This ended up being a really good idea. My partner was far more open to therapy when we started and really threw himself into it, and it actually helped me to start identifying to some of my problems, looking at Michael's anxiety there, although mine is the anger and aggression towards her partner. I'm not going to go into detail with the stuff that came out, but even after just 2 sessions, we understand each other so much better. We've got a lot of work to do to overcome things, but just understanding where our behaviors come from goes a really long way to wiping out the resentment and helping us connect and communicate. It's safe to say we're both carrying childhood trauma, which I think I was less aware of on my side. Like, I knew my family dynamic wasn't necessarily healthy growing up, and I have a complicated relationship with my parents as an adult, but I didn't realize how much baggage I had left with me. I feel more comfortable going into things from my side, so I guess I'll talk a bit about that. I never really had any safe attachments growing up, and I struggle a lot with feeling safe in relationships, both romantic and platonic, and with trust. I didn't even realize. I thought struggling with vulnerability and the way that manifests for me was completely rational and normal, but in retrospect, of course it isn't. So some commenters suggesting that maybe I was overreacting or that maybe it wasn't just about the one situation. You were right, just maybe not in the way you were expecting. It wasn't just about the financial advisor, it was about 2 adults with childhood trauma trying to be better people together who needed a bit of help. I know this is very vague on things from my partner's side, but that is not really for me to share. I am, however, incredibly proud of him for opening up in the way that he has, and I've learned so much about him as a person that he struggled to talk about before. Therapy has reaffirmed that he is the person I want to spend my life with, and has shown me that we're both willing to put in the work to make that happen. I'm excited about where this journey will take us and about the future we can build together. We're a great team and a great couple in a lot of ways, and the support we've been able to give each other as we've begun digging into our respective traumas has made me feel really positive about the relationship and where we're going, and that the things we're struggling with are things that we can overcome together with a little help from our wonderful therapist, of course. Extended from OP's comments. Things are going well for us, and we've both had lightbulb moments that changed the way we view different events in our relationship and have made us examine the dynamic we've fallen into. Some of it is definitely him stuff, but a lot is also me stuff. It's almost like we've been speaking different languages for 5 years in some ways, with how actions, intent, and reception came across. We both have work to do, but we want to do that together because we love and support each other. So this is not about molding him into the person I want him to be, but supporting him to become the person he wants to be. Our therapist finds it interesting that we chose each other as romantic partners because the sort of coping strategies and attachment styles we've developed fill in the gaps for each other in some regards, but cause a lot of friction in others. We've actually talked about the prioritization stuff a bit, and I think for both of us it comes from being each other's safe person and the baggage our upbringings have left us with in regards to that. We kind of need opposite things from each other in this specific case, but he's acknowledged that this is an area he needs to lead the work on. He's making pretty great steps forward too so far. Wow, OP, this is a very happy update, and I'm actually really happy I was proven wrong. I was very wrong about the two of you. All you guys needed was just proper work, so congratulations on your drive, and awesome that your boyfriend and you were able to open up to each other. Thank you so much for sharing, and all the best to the both of you in the future. Take care. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user OKComparison4487. I hit all the power cords and HDMI cables. So it's Major Petty, I know, that's why I'm here, lol. My boyfriend wanted to game with me last night, so naturally I'm pumped cause dude doesn't play with me often anymore. So he goes downstairs to set stuff up and I shower quick and I go downstairs and he's passed out. Like full on snoring loudly passed out. I try to wake him up and he says he just wants to nap quick and he'll play. Okay, that's fine. An hour goes by and I try to wake him again. Just a little bit longer, he says. I give him another hour. He's lucky I'm having fun getting soft lobbies so I can practice with the marksman rifles. Well, I try to wake him up one more time and now he's cranky with me for waking him up. So what started as a nap at 7:30 p.m. ended up with him just sleeping for the rest of the night, and my butthurt ass playing Modern Warfare 2 by myself. Honestly, played better anyways, probably cause I was mad, lol. Well, fast forward to today. He's at work right now for another hour and I work in 20 minutes for the next 8 hours. And I just hid all the power cords and HDMI cables in the house. Smiley face. You won't game with me. You're not gaming with your buddies either. Smiley face. OP's update. On my break. So my boss is in on it now too, lol. He texted me 2 hours ago asking where it was and I didn't answer. So he came by my work with our dog. Big smiley face. And to the Redditor who said, tell him they are napping, thank you for that, cause it's exactly what I said, lol. Through gritted teeth, he says, I checked everywhere, where are they? And I just chuckled. Needless to say, he left with no information as to where they are located, and about an hour later texted my boss, please tell me where she put them. Laughing face. We'll update later if I remember, lol. And to the people who are triggered, I did explain to him why I was upset twice. Once last night after the third attempt to wake him when he was basically half asleep, and then again today, civilly, on his lunch break. We still said our I love yous to each other, and it's definitely not as deep as some of you make it out to be, lol. We've been together for years. I just woke up today and felt petty, lol. OP's update 2. Just got home. I'm sorry guys, very anticlimactic end to a great start. Effer found the cords about 2 hours ago, but I could imagine the look on his face when he found out I put the cords in a closet we don't use 5 feet away from his Xbox, lol. 6 hours of looking and not gaming, only to find it right beside his setup. Sometimes the most obvious places are the hardest to see. Petty revenge accomplished, I'd say, lol. Thank you to all who took it the harmless way I had meant it. Y'all know how to have fun. OP's final update. I don't know if the ones who are mad are even reading this far, but I'd like you to know he cooked me dinner last night while I read him your comments and we laughed. Thanks for the chuckles. We're gonna go play Modern Warfare 2 now. Very nicely played, OP. Thank you so much for sharing. Have fun gaming with your boyfriend, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.